Welcome to the show, Texas Business Radio. We have an exciting show for you today. As the workplace gets more and more complex, we have a need to have our IT infrastructure that keeps up with it. So information technology is a big business. It's only getting bigger. And it's something that it may not be what you do for a living, but if you don't understand it, you don't have people that do understand it working for you, you're wrong and you're missing out on some things. So we're going to get to that here in just a second. Go ahead and get your calls in, 844-814-8144. It's our 24-hour call-in line. Call in now. Call in later, 3 o'clock in the morning. Really doesn't matter to us. We're going to get the experts on the air to get those questions answered. We also monitor hashtag TBR on Twitter, TBR, or go to the website, texasbusinessradio.com. We got a wealth of information there. You can get your questions in there. We got the entire thing in beautiful high-definition video and a wealth of information. If you hadn't been there, do yourself a favor and get there. I'm your host, Matt Register. Here, as always, with Jay Curry over in the co-host chair. Jay, what's going on, sir?
Well, as you know, this is not only just about IT, but every good business person should outsource things that are not critical path relevant to revenues. In other words, if they build buildings, they don't need to be doing IT. And this is an example here that every CEO, and I don't care what size you are, you need to be paying close attention to how to outsource IT services. And Patrick's going to give us a great option for that.
No doubt. We're going to jump right into it. Accudata Systems, they're in Houston, they're in Dallas, they're all over the state. Big company, very good company at what they do. CEO Patrick Vardeman is here in the studio to tell us all about it. Patrick, welcome to the show, sir.
Matt, Jay, thanks for having me.
Accudata Systems, tell me, what do you do? Who do you do it to?
So Accudata is a full-service IT consulting firm. We were founded in 1982 here in Houston. So we've been around for
a while, yeah.
35 years. That's right. I've been with the firm myself for 19.
Okay.
We've in terms of what we do, we help organizations really secure, modernize, and grow their IT infrastructure assets. So we work with them to whether it's whether they're going through merger and acquisition, whether they're divesting an organization, whether they're looking to enhance the security, maybe they've had a breach. We kind of cover all facets of IT.
Okay, so if I'm looking to purchase a company, you're the folks I call to come in and assess what the company I'm buying and let me know what their deficiencies are perhaps in the IT space, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we work with organizations on the business side very often to help with the due diligence. As they go in and they do the due diligence for an acquisition, we'll come in and do a lot of the assessments to help understand what that platform looks like, what that infrastructure looks like, and then help the organization decide, okay, what next steps should they take as they acquire that business?
Well, I'll tell you what, in the life cycle of a company, at some point you get to the size where you realize that you need major systems in place, right? Well beyond the way that it had been run in the past.
Sure.
You guys can come in and assist that CEO or that company in identifying what it is they need, because I'm telling you, a lot of these guys have no idea about IT. They know they need it. That's about the extent of it, right?
Well, that, and also I think it's interesting too to keep in mind that a lot of IT organizations, they're in the business of supporting that one company.
Sure.
Whereas we're working with companies every day, different companies with different needs. And so for a lot of organizations, when they sit down and say, well, gee, should we put this application in the cloud as an example? They may have never done that before. They may not have the experience, or they may not have really done the research and understand what the marketplace looks like. Whereas we do that just consistently, month in, month out. We're constantly evaluating the market. We're constantly keeping a pace with the technology. And I think that's really important. I mean, the wave of development that's occurred in our industry in the last 5 years is unlike anything we've seen.
So you're telling me the IT industry has changed over the last 15 years?
Slightly.
How about the last 15 months?
Yeah, slightly.
Well, and it's only accelerating on the pace of change, right?
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that you get a lot of guys that have messed this up, because this is something we were talking during the break, right? And right before the show. And the cost associated with not getting this right is pretty extensive. Walk me through a little bit, because some of these guys, they mess it up and then they come to you to help them fix it, right?
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. Right now, if if you've gone to like your banking website as an example, you know that that's encrypted traffic.
Sure.
Right? That's encrypted. One of the things that's changed just in the last year is the majority of internet traffic's encrypted. So if you go to Google, that's encrypted.
Hey, if you go to TexasBusinessRadio.com, that's encrypted,
Okay.
right? I mean, the vast majority of it is.
So as an example, where many organizations for the last 5, 6, 7 years have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to protect the infrastructure of that organization, they haven't really paid attention to encrypted traffic because you typically just let that through.
Yeah, they think that's protected.
Right. Well, today it's not. And so what we've, as an example of the pace of change, you also have to remember that the bad guys have changed too.
Right.
So things like malware and things like that, those are encrypted. Those are encrypted sessions oftentimes. So what that means is, you may have a CEO saying, well, we've spent all this money in IT, we're protected. But the pace of change also occurs with the bad guys. So now you've got bad guys that are writing things like malware, encrypting it. It's coming straight into your environment. You don't know. And then and we've seen that. We've seen disastrous impacts.
Well, I tell you what, as a former infantry officer, I realize it doesn't matter how great of a plan I come up with, the enemy gets a vote, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First shot changes the plan.
That's it. And,
exactly.
and in this case, you have a constantly evolving enemy or a threat into your environment.
Right.
You guys have got to be on top of it because, but that scale of your company buys you the ability to see a whole lot of examples of this, right?
Exactly. I mean, not only the scale and just the size of the organizations we work with, but also just the different technologies we work with. So we're very fortunate to work with some really great partners, some manufacturing partners, but we see a lot of the technology changing. And when you look at things like cloud, cloud's another example of, I think a lot of organizations may view that as just, well, hey, we'll put it in the cloud. That's an easy transition for us.
Sure.
But the challenge is the cloud's just somebody else's computer. And so when you think about security or you think about even access, how easy it is for the user, a lot of things have to be taken into account. Where's the database? What kind of latency would we have, to make sure that it's
What kind of
effective.
security does it have,
Yeah,
right? How do
exactly.
we ensure that only our guys have access
Exactly.
to it?
Exactly.
So one of the things that comes out in my mind, though, is you can't wait. I mean, say you set this up 3 years ago and you haven't done anything since, they need to get you guys in because you cannot wait until, the next chance you want to look at it. You need to be looking at this thing every year or every 18 months or what.
So what we help organizations with is, through assessments and through different engagements, working with them on a quarterly basis, oftentimes.
There you go.
And your point earlier about, leveraging firms that do this, as their core business versus
Right.
like if you're a construction firm doing.
Sure.
We have a lot of organizations we work with where we'll take that kind of level one stuff, the keeping the lights on, the IT operations off their plate, because oftentimes the IT organization needs to focus on the projects. They need to focus on how do we strategize to grow with the firm, grow with the organization. But a lot of times that operational stuff keeps them behind.
It sucks up all the time. It sucks all the oxygen out of the room, right?
Exactly.
Well, there's a whole lot of things, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk right before the show. And guys, you need to learn more. There's a whole lot of terms that are being thrown around today. Hardware as a service, software as a service, cloud. All you guys can help a company make sense of all of this and figure out what they need, when they need it, and what is the appropriate level of security and infrastructure for exactly what it is they do. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Patrick Vardeman, CEO of Accudata Systems here in Texas. They're headquartered here in Houston, but they're all over the state, large organization. What is the easiest way for somebody to get in touch with you should somebody want to?
I would say feel free to go to our website.
Okay.
It's www.accudatasystems.com. They can find more information about us. They can certainly fill out a contact us form, or they can call us, 281-897-5000.
All right.
We'd be happy to help them.
Wonderful. AccudataSystems.com. Guys, if you're driving, can't take notes, that'll be on TexasBusinessRadio.com. We're going to have links to all of these guests. Patrick Vardeman, CEO of Accudata Systems. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Jay.
Very informative.
And absolutely very informative. And guys, if you don't get this right, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Don't do it.
Got that right, too.
So we are just getting warmed up. We got a whole lot more IT to talk about. Don't go anywhere. You really don't even have time to go anywhere. We're going to be right back right after we pay a couple of bills. Don't go anywhere. Texas Business Radio.